Hi, I want to talk to you today about what I call blogifying, which is using images and links and videos to engage reader interest in your thoughts and ideas. And I want to talk about some of the things that work, and I want to talk about some pitfalls to avoid. So I want to go to the sample post that you can find at the top of the blog, writetothink.com. And I want to remind you that this post was about the social worker who talks about her experiences and frustrations with the legal and the court criminal justice system. Now, if you notice, the thrust of this post is about social justice. And so I bring in an image that echoes that theme. So I don't just try to find a picture of a social worker or of that particular social worker, or I don't just put up a copy of Gig. I ask myself, what's the idea I really want to talk about? And can I find a cool image related to that? So I could have looked for frustration, I could have looked for social justice, I could look for motivation, but social justice was the one that really clicked. It was the heart of the post for me. It seemed like the main point, and so I wanted an image that would get to that main point. Speaking of main points, I think it's important too to have a strong title for your blog post. And this one, Frustration, Social Justice, and Motivation, doesn't just simply name the interview I'm talking about. It gets at a larger question related to work that I want to talk about. And that draws in reader interest. And that seems less mechanical than the other kind of approach to titling. Then if we look at links, there's a link here. I actually happen to find a text to part of the interview that someone could look at. But there's also a link here to a site about the criminal justice system. And when I click on that link, it takes us to an article about the unfairness of the criminal justice system. So again, the link is connected to the topic, the idea of the piece, and it builds on that. Also, later below, I have a link to social justice. I click on that, and it also takes me to a piece that explores the idea of social justice and helps the reader understand the role that social justice plays in the life and the motivation of social workers. Took a long time for that to pull up, but there it is. And it's from the National Association of Social Workers. So it gets at social work, gets at social justice, and it builds on what I'm talking about in the blog post. So I think 2 of the 3 of those links are especially strong. The link to the actual interview is a fun thing to have, but the other 2 I think really build on the ideas in the piece, and that's what we're looking for. Wikipedia is off the table. We're not going to use Wikipedia posts. We're going to go beyond that and show our readers that we've done some research and thought a little bit more about what we're trying to do. When you scroll down the piece, you'll notice that in the works cited, wherever possible, anything I could make a link, I did. So that's something you want to think about doing, making sure that if the source, the work you're citing is on the web, that you have a link to it. And then I bring in a TED Talk. And the TED Talk, again, isn't really about social work or a social worker, and it's certainly not about the interview that I am dialoguing with. It's about the larger question of justice in the criminal justice system. And it's a cool kind of TED Talk, and I hope you'll watch it. But the more important point for what we're doing now is an understanding that the video, like the links and the images, all reinforce the main image and all go beyond simple, obvious things to try to sort of present a multimedia experience of the idea that I want to share, the idea that I want to develop. So I'm avoiding Wikipedia, I'm avoiding generic images about Gig or the person interviewed, and I'm moving beyond to the larger point and using video and links and images to support the ideas I'm trying to communicate. That's the kind of skill you can cultivate as a blog writer, and it's an important skill to have in our multimedia world of thinking, writing, and conversation. Thanks for listening.